Hey guys, so quickly let me talk about what I'm trying to achieve and then I'll get into the actual practicalities. When you're sharpening a knife, at least when I first started, I would just sharpen some on one side, sharpen some on the other side, back, forth, and I didn't really know what I was trying to do. I figured, I'll get there eventually. But I never really knew when I had gotten to the point where I was getting something sharp. You know, I might have most of it and then a little crinkle and then most of that. I still hadn't achieved a full sharpening of that knife. So then I stumbled across, I forget who the heck told me, this thing called the burr. If you sharpen a knife and you take away enough material to where you actually have achieved that point, you'll start to get kind of a little fold over. So you have the point and then you have a little bit more, the burr. And you can actually, it's hard to see, but you can feel it with your fingers. If you drag them away from the edge of the knife so you don't cut yourself, you'll feel something catch on your fingertips. And if you then start sharpening this side, that burr will move over and then you can drag your fingers on the other side and feel that. When you felt that burr, you have achieved your initial point. If you do not feel that burr, and not just in one spot, but across the entirety of the knife. And what I mean by that is you have this knife, the blade starts here, it's what's called the heel. It's where the blade meets the handle or the base of the blade. And that would be obviously the tip or the point. You should be able to feel that burr across the entirety of that edge. And you just drag a finger or two across it until you feel that. And like I said, if you feel it, then switch over, sharpen the other side, and then you should feel it again when you drag it away from the edge so you do not cut yourself. And if that burr moves back and forth, when I've sharpened one side, sharpened the other side, that burr has moved back and forth, then I can switch away from that really abrasive media. With me, I think my stone that I use to achieve this is a 120 grit stone. It's Japanese water stone. And then I move to a higher number, 220, then a 400, then an 800, and so on. But I've got to get this. And so that requires me using something that is a very low number on the grit scale, something that's very abrasive to get to that point. But as soon as I've got that, then there's no point in grinding away with that very aggressive media unless there's a huge chip or something I'm trying to work out of the knife. But if I've got a nice smooth burr all the way across that I can feel, and then it moves to the other side when I sharpen the other side, then stop with the really, really aggressive stuff and move on to media that is finer. Now, at this point, minus that burr, you've got a usable edge. If you want to take a ceramic rod and kind of just run it a couple of times across both sides to remove the burr, you could use that knife, totally usable. But if you're trying to hit that polish, then going from that really aggressive media to something a little less, then a little less, then a little less, also starts to remove the burr and adds polish. That final step that I always do, the strop, that'll take care of what's left of the burr and give me an edge. So let's go mess up the edge on a knife and bring it back, shall we? All right, guys, I don't think words are really going to describe just how painful this is to me. I realize this is only a $12 knife, but to give you some idea, it's still pretty sharp. So I've got the rock of you-know-what. Oh, Lord, here we go. All right. Oh, dear Lord. Look, it's taking parts out of the knife. Awesome. Do we think we've done enough? I feel like maybe I have, but I don't know. Okay. Like I said, it pains me to do that. Okay. Is everyone reasonably satisfied that I'm not cheating? Oh, well, no, wait, there's a little sharp spot there. Hang on, I'm gonna fix that. There. Okay. So if it cuts, it's incidental or coincidental at this point. So on to the sharpening. All right, so here we go. I've got that 120 grit on the sharpener, as I previously mentioned, and I'm gonna very aggressively remove metal. I picked this knife not only because it was cheap, but also it is soft, which means I don't quite think have a burr yet. I'll do the other side and come back. I think I'll probably have it at that point. But like I said, at this point, I'm just tearing metal off this knife, trying to get the dull part out. I'm starting to get it. I'm going to do 2 more passes, I think. Oh, I hurt this edge a lot. I hurt it a lot. All right, I can feel the burr at this point. I doubt it'll even focus, but I can really start to feel it right there in the middle. I can sort of feel it there, and it's a little bit at the tip. So I'm gonna hit the other side one time, make sure that burr moves to the other side, and then when I have finished that, then I've really gotten that initial point. Like that is when I can tell I've gotten the point. So let me hit the other side, make sure that burr moves. Okay, I can feel it now all along that edge. So the burr did move. I have hit the initial sharp point on this knife. Now, if you can tell, that edge looks super rough because I have used a super abrasive media. So I won't trouble you with the footage of going through some lighter ones. I'm just gonna take it to 400 or 600. So stand by for the sharp test, but that's your initial point. Like that's what you want to get. And I'm sorry you can't see it. If I had like a super macro lens, you'd be able to, but trust me, I can feel that rough edge all the way along and it moved from side to side. So the first part, the hardest part is done on this knife. So stand by for the second part. Guys, I'm just now making the last couple passes with 400 grit. 400's not that fine. I've got stuff that goes up to 3,000. I'm just taking this to what I consider to be a usable edge, not a super high polish, just to kind of show you. And I've spent at most, even counting the video and everything, probably about 10 minutes on this knife. Yeah, reasonable. I'll clean all this up in a bit, and just because I know there's probably still some burr left, I'm gonna do a quick strop. And let's see what we get. Yeah, back to as sharp as it ever was. Ooh, I might have a little spot that I need to work out, but yep. So back to sharp, not bad. Okay, I time-lapsed out some of the sharpening, but all told, it really took me about 10 minutes of actual work, not counting camera setup and screwing around, to get a usable edge back on this knife. It's not perfect, and I could have polished it out more. I mean, I used 3 stones. There are 4 more at my disposal if I wanted a really nice fine edge, but this is a usable edge on a $12 knife, which I brought back in 10 minutes. The sharpening system that I used, I'll post a link to that one, and same thing with the Strop. I like that sharpening system because it strikes that balance. I'll also post a link to that $12 carbide set. Like if you don't care and you just want to drag your knife through something a bunch of times, make sure it cuts, you're not good to go, don't care, then that'll work for you. If you want more, then like I said, I think the one that I use kind of strikes that balance pretty well. There are 2 other systems that I will post in kind of the same price range. One slightly cheaper, one slightly more expensive. And then I'll post one to $1,000 system if you really want to go that far. Any of those that I'm going to post will get you some sort of usable edge. When you go up in price, there's going to be better. If you've already got a reasonable edge on a knife and you're not planning on letting it get as banged up as I did, then you could legitimately just get a Strop. I think that and a steel might be all that you need. But if you subject that blade to any sort of hard use and it really gets dull, you're going to need more than a Strop to bring it back. And that's where these sharpening systems come into play. I hope this video is helpful to you, and especially you, Dan. I hope that you got something from this. As always, like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions, you can hit me in the comments. You can shoot me an email. I'm reachable basically everywhere all the time. So let me know what you think, guys. Take care. Stay safe.